Welcome back to Views from the 50, an NFL podcast where we provide coverage on all things NFL. I'm your co-host, El Jefe, and I'm joined here by my fellow members of the SMN crew. What's going on, Wayne?
What's up? What's up, Jeff and Mr. Disappointed? We here for another week. Excited to be here. Another week of playoffs and basketball season's heating up. As you can see the trades going. So yeah, we here.
All right, all right. What's going on, Mr. Disappointed?
It's another day. What is today? Thursday. Uh, it's 18 days into dry January. Haven't had a drink. One of these days last weekend, I really wanted to drink really badly, but I decided against it for uh, for the betterment of everybody around me and myself. But
Shout
there were
out.
some people really drove me very close to the bottle.
Yeah,
All I
very
got.
close to.
All I gotta say real quick before you start. Shout out to Disappointed and his sober journey. Keep it going. That's all I gotta say.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah. Shout out to your sober journey because we all know how hard it was to be sober this past weekend, and we gonna get right into it. The NFL's hottest topic: Dallas losing what they call an upset, a big upset, and personally for me, that word is just crazy because I believe that no team this past weekend got upset. And in all honesty, I think all these teams deserve to be where they were. As far as the Packers, man, starting from Thanksgiving, they were putting on a show, and Dallas obviously they just weren't prepared. But disappointed, man. I know you're real disappointed, so I'm gonna let you get this off.
Get off the chest, man.
Um, I don't I don't really know where to start with the Dallas Cowboys. The week prior, I even tried to devise a game plan, different scenarios, and how the Cowboys could find the easiest route to the NFC Championship game. And lo and behold, they pulled the rug from right up under me. Um, Dak Prescott, I don't know what it is about big games, but it always looks like there's ghosts in his eyes. I don't know what happened, why his nerves seemed like they were shot in the first half. But it happened when he played Green Bay his rookie year. He had a horrible first half. Second half, he plays well. But in this game specifically, the game was already out of reach. The defense did not show up whatsoever. I know that Micah Parsons claims he's supposed to be Defensive Player of the Year. They stand at third about all pro selections, Cowboys having 8 players selected to the all pro team or whatever the number was. But do they really deserve it at this point? It's regular season, empty calorie accolades and stats. Dak has an MVP type season to throw 2 interceptions, one to Jair Alexander, which arguably is a pass interference, however you want to call it. It's the playoffs. These guys are going to play physical. You throw the interception, then a couple of series later, you throw a pick six. Horrible pass, in fact. Egregious. Don't know what we're looking at. CD Lamb, I don't know what happened there. There was some sort of disconnect between him and Dak. You could see it in the first drive when he dropped the third down pass. If the game plan was to run the ball, he was visibly frustrated. He let Jair Alexander push him in the back. There was no fight. There was no heart on the field for the Dallas Cowboys. And that unfortunately is the character, the culture, the personality of the Dallas Cowboys. It's a lot of fluff. It's a lot of okay, we're gonna do this in the regular season. We're gonna win the division. We're not, we don't even have to address what's going on in Philadelphia. Cowboys, we just got to go out there and win. We got to seize everything, as they said on Twitter. That was the catchphrase: seize everything. It was a carpe, oh no, whatever the phrase was. But the Cowboys seized nothing. They seized nothing. They couldn't even grab their own nuts. They were castrated by the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Jones, Cowboy killer, 3 touchdowns. Romeo Dobbs goes for like 150. What are we doing? What's his name? Dan Quinn. Anytime he coaches, anytime he goes up against a guy from the Shanahan tree, they crush him. Sean McVay eats him alive. Kyle Shanahan eats him alive. Matt McFleur, as we saw, ate him alive. Pause. But it's just like what is it? What has to happen for the Dallas Cowboys and this franchise
Well, we
to
know
just
one
nut
thing that
up?
they're not making a coaching change.
And that's the unfortunate truth in it all. That's the unfortunate consequence or result from all of this. Absolutely nothing. No change is taking place. Dan Quinn may get hired and go somewhere else, but if other franchises are smart, they're going to be like, oh, keep him in Dallas because we know that if we have to play the Dallas Cowboys in the first game of the playoffs or whatever, it's going to be a cakewalk. Any sort of game that matters to the Dallas Cowboys, it's a layup for the other team. At least that's what I'm seeing. So, got a lot of phone calls, got a lot of text messages. Guys were like, oh, well, ready to give up on your Dallas Cowboys? You've done this for 30 plus years. Isn't it time to go join a new franchise? Absolutely not. That'll never be the case. I'll pick up cricket. I'll pick up hockey. I'll pick up bowling on Sundays or something. Uh, I'll watch Lance Armstrong highlights because he has more nuts than the Dallas Cowboys do apparently. Like Green Bay, like Jordan Love coming to the Dallas Cowboys home, 16-0 at home in the last 16 games. For what? For what? It's just weak-hearted, man. It's just a lack of character, and something has to change, man. I don't know if Micah has to go because arguably it could be a situation where we have a Herschel Walker situation. We trade, get a whole bunch of first-round picks, and we just change it up, man. Because I don't know, man. I don't know if Dak has to go. I don't know if Micah has to go. Somebody has to go because somebody needs to be on the chopping block for this. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable.
It is very unacceptable. I'm not gonna say I completely agree with you about trading away Micah, but Dak,
What has
man,
he done?
I'm
Explain to me what has he done in
he,
games that matter? Can you tell me what has he done?
I mean, I get that, but Dak has
No,
been
okay.
Dak has been disappointing us year in and year out, and we know what ghost he was seeing on that field against the Packers. He was seeing Aaron Rodgers out there. He was seeing his ghost. We know it.
The defense gave up 20 points in the first half, and they first series. First
Is
series.
it? But Dan Quinn's not making the proper adjustments either. He's
Like
supposed to
Bond.
be.
They're
He's
on.
supposed to be the holy grail of the defensive
He's
coaching.
not.
Supposed
He's
to
not.
be
We know he's
supposed to
not,
be one of the top candidates, not named Bill. For head coaching, and he's doing what?
brother. I understand the schemes, the coaching, and all that. I understand that. I don't disagree with you there. What does Micah Parsons do in big games? Except go on podcasts after.
Like Draymond.
Not much.
At least from what I saw. And I love Micah Parsons. I love him as a Dallas
I
Cowboy.
mean, he got a holding call, but he was
Finally.
getting
But
he was definitely getting his calls.
what else has he done in big games this season? He got smashed in the mouth by San Francisco. He said, "Oh, I got something for you, George Kittle." But now you don't got the chance because you didn't show up against Green Bay.
No,
Nobody showed up in Green Bay. They left. They left their own home. Green Bay. Jordan Love. Jordan Love looked like Aaron Rodgers out there. He's throwing off his back foot, supreme confidence, finding the soft spot in the zone. Wide receivers finding the soft spot in the zone. He's just carving us up for 20 yards at a time. Stuff like it looked so bad. It looked like the Cowboys were a college football team going up against professionals. There was no run game. I don't know what we're gonna do with Tony Pollard, but he can't come back. He cannot come back.
not for 11 million.
And then we have to pay Dak.
No, we
There has
don't.
there
We got to get rid of him. It's time for a new guy at the helm.
Trey Lance.
I don't know about Trey.
Okay then. So then you
Hey, there's
trade. you trade somebody. You
Hey,
have to. You
listen,
gotta get. You
listen,
gotta get
listen.
some
We
picks
got
off, man.
we got a first round, I believe the 24th pick, and there's gonna be some guys that'll still be down there we could rock with.
Yeah, all right. I think the Cowboys need a shakeup. We need a culture change.
There's rumors
And
that we're going after Derrick Henry in free agency. There's also
Derrick Henry's
rumors
old.
there's also rumors Diggs is coming. A Diggs trade will happen.
If they
What
lose
point?
on Sunday.
Yeah.
What point is that gonna? And they're not gonna lose on Sunday. It's this is Buffalo's time. We'll get to that later, but this is Buffalo's time.
And we'll see, but um but
Well,
uh
well, I wanted y'all to get that out off your chest first, because y'all the Cowboys fans, in general. Y'all had to get that off your chest. It's understandable. I feel it. I was surprised, Jordan Love went out there and he was looking like baby A-Rod, to be honest with you. He was throwing dots. It was nothing but dots being thrown on the field. And he has all young receivers. These are all receivers that he's going to be playing with for the next at least 4 to 5, because they're going to sign him. So it was impressive. It was just impressive by it was both disappointing by the Cowboys and impressive by the Packers, because Matt LaFleur has y'all number too as well. He knows what to do. He knows what plays to dial up against you guys. He gets it done. But for me, I would throw this out to you guys. This draft here is a heavy, heavy quarterback draft. Heavy. Y'all could end up trading Dak to a QB needed team, minus Chicago at 1, because he can't go number 1 overall unless y'all plan trading Parsons with him. But if y'all trade Dak to a QB needed team and just draft a quarterback, I don't see why not. The team will give you that pick plus another pick if y'all just trade Dak.
Plus, people are. I don't know where the rumor came from that Dak might be going to Miami, or whatever that whole thing was about. But
yeah, I did see that. That was crazy.
I just don't know where. I don't know where Dak could go, potentially. Because I
Where
mean,
would Tua go then? Because y'all are not taking in Tua. Tua is
no.
not thriving anywhere else.
If you trade Dak, you offshore him, and you try to get a couple. You try to get a couple draft picks. Is what you're saying. So I'm trying to think of who. Carolina's pick is with Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have 9.
No, they have 1 and
They
9.
have 1 and 9.
So that 1 pick, I can't see them keeping Fields with how good Caleb Williams is. I cannot see it.
Yeah, and Cliff King. I think Cliff Kingsbury or
Yeah, I
whatever.
just saw that. Yeah,
Yeah,
interviewing for the OC. So yeah,
yeah. So that Chicago might be going to pick him up. So
sucks.
Caleb
Yeah.
Williams. But I mean, Caleb Williams is going to be entered in a black hole because there's no real receivers out there, so it's going to be unfortunate for him. I'm trying to figure out. I think we have to sit there and we gotta deal with that right now. But I don't know. Like I said, somebody has to go. I don't know if we have to do a complete reset and we just wait till Dak, you know, does his thing and then we let him test free agency. Unless something changes this year, which I know it's not.
I
I
think
know
he
it's not.
has. I think he has like another year on the contract at least, because he just signed on a few years ago before his ankle injury or after and something like that.
Yeah, but it's supposed to hit. It's supposed to hit our cap. Really, it's going to hit our cap bad, and that's going to be the
Oh
problem.
God, yeah, no, he has to go. Sorry,
Yeah,
Um,
that's going to be
it's
the
time
problem.
to it's time to let
just
them
you
go.
you can't fail like that in the playoffs. He threw 2 pick sixes. You
That's
cannot do
why.
that.
And I was telling people before, I was like, bro, I've seen this story before. I said, I've seen it. I've seen this story before. He's a commentator now. I know this story. I knew this story. I saw it. And we've had 2 quarterbacks back to back do the same things. And it might be the curse of Jerry Jones. It might be the curse of Jerry Jones.
I do.
If it is, kid, Jerry's just got to step down. He's got to step down like Daniel Snyder.
Yeah,
Get out of there.
unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But we do need some change in Dallas, man. We were the only team this wild card weekend not to defend our home. So this was not a good look for us at all. As you said, very disappointed in going 16-0 just to lose in a wild card round. But
Yeah, just for Green Bay to go up to San Francisco and get mollywopped.
Facts.
yeah. So let's get into that. As you said, Green Bay, man, they're traveling over to the 49ers. And they get to see Brock Purdy and the gang, well rested off a bye week. For me, I would love to see the Packers win this game. Personally, it would make me feel a lot better. As far as losing to them. But I do feel like the 49ers, they should be able to handle this easily. I mean, this is a young, good team, but I don't know. Hopefully the 49ers aren't prepared. Maybe they come in this game unprepared and love eats them up. We'll see. How y'all feel?
Um, Honestly, yeah, I feel like the Niners should handle business, but I would definitely love to see the Packers win too as well. And plus, that's another team that LaFleur has their number. You got to think about that. He knows how to dial up some players. He knows how to go in San Fran and win the game. So, um, it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting, but I don't think there's no way that Jordan Love's gonna get past this defense. This defense is crazy. So should be a good game still, but yeah, Niners should win it. McCaffrey with 2 touchdowns at least, minimum.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that San Francisco's defense is going to come with an intensity that the Cowboys lacked. They're going to be able to, play. They're not going to be playing a whole bunch of zone and allowing Jordan Love, or playing a whole bunch of zone and then rushing only 4 and 5 and giving Jordan Love a whole bunch of time to figure out what the defense is doing. San Francisco is a lot more physical. They are a no nonsense football team. Not with with Matt LaFleur knowing what's going on, they just don't have the talent that matches up with San Francisco. San Francisco's offense is going to do what they need to do with Deebo Samuel, and they have a run game, so their offense is a little bit more dynamic, and so that's going to present a problem with that Green Bay defense. That would prior to at least playing Dallas, they had they had a bit of issues on the defense side of the ball. And I think San Francisco is going to exploit that, as the Cowboys should have. So San Francisco should win this game. But no, despite having a bye or anything, I think this team is going to be well prepared, and they're going to go in there and just handle business as football teams that are better than other football teams do or should do.
All right.
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas. They need to take a listen to that one right there. Well, let's move on from all that disappointment. And let's get on to some other things that happened in the NFC side of the bracket. The Lions. They finally had a home playoff game in pretty much my entire lifespan. It's been, and
Facts.
the and they were able to handle business, barely hang on and handle business. This was probably the most exciting wild card game of the weekend, the only close game there really was.
Mhm.
But the Lions, they were able to take care of business, and I don't know if you guys got to see it after the game when Stafford and Goff hugged, but Stafford told Goff to go win it all. But how do y'all feel about the Lions handling business and, like I said, getting their first home playoff game in pretty much our entire lifespan?
It's good for the city of Detroit. They have gone through a lot. The shortened career of Barry Sanders, the shortened career of Megatron Calvin Johnson. Even what Matthew Stafford was doing in Detroit, they never really got a chance to see a lot of playoff success. If they just never really saw it to play any sort of playoff success, obviously. So it was good for them. I think that Matthew Stafford, even though the Lions are a good football team, I think Matthew Stafford did them a favor, because I feel like Matthew Stafford could have very well just won that game. But shout out to Dan Campbell and those boys in Detroit. I mean, ultimately they did get the job done, and congratulations, man. I wish them the best luck in the playoffs. Those are one of those feel good stories that I do think if there's any team in the NFC I would like to see make it, it would be Detroit.
I feel that. Feel that. Yeah, Detroit, happy for them. They definitely deserve it. It's been a while. I feel like they had a couple of 0-16 seasons. Now they had one, but it's just
But
been
they
a
had
rough
the
road
one.
for them. Yeah, yeah, it was just really bad. So had a lot of miscued years. Dan Campbell came through and he brought some energy that's been different that they've been needing. So they got the job done. Golf's playing some good football right now. Um, I agree with you that Stafford definitely could have ended them, but he wanted to give it to Detroit. They deserved it. He's been there a couple times in the playoffs, but he didn't do anything when they made it to the playoffs when he was in Detroit. So um, definitely good for them though. Good for Detroit. Good for the city.
Yeah,
But let's
man.
see how they do. Let's see how they do in
Yeah.
the next one.
Yeah, shout out to the Lions, man. They got it done for their city, and the city is back alive with Dan Campbell, like y'all
Hey,
said.
but let Baker bake because he coming in there hot. He coming in to make some noise. So it's gonna be an interesting game against them this weekend. That's for sure.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
as you said, the Bucks, they took down the Eagles in the final game of the NFC. In very surprising fashion, the Eagles couldn't even get double digits in that one. And now they get to travel to Detroit. How do y'all feel about the Bucks? And Baker, man, they were not prepared for the bake.
oh
Go
my
ahead,
gosh, I was gonna let Wayne go first, but no, I think that we saw in full effect the issues come. I mean, we already knew that there were some issues in the city of brotherly love, as they call it. They call it that, and the other side of that they're Broad Street bullies. You know, they're Broad Street bullies, but I guess that's hockey, so never mind. Because the Eagles obviously were not bullying anybody this season. Started off 10-1, finished 2-5 for the season. Philadelphia, they have an issue now. Nick Sirianni is not the coach that we thought that he was. Brian Johnson is not the offensive coordinator to get the offense going. Matt Patricia being the defense coordinator that switched midway during the season obviously did nothing for them. Jason Kelsey may be retiring. Nothing's final yet. You know, a little bit of rumblings in the presser speaking, post game conversation with Fletcher Cox. You know, he called the reporter a clown, but that just shows a little bit of emotional frustration. You know what I mean? The Eagles only put up 9 points against the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield goes for 3 TDs. I mean, and I love a redemption arc. Trust me, I've watched enough anime to definitely appreciate a redemption arc. And Baker Mayfield, this is what Baker Mayfield's going through right now. He's Detroit should win that game. Detroit's a well-rounded team. I think that the Buccaneers are riding a high right now, but I think it speaks more so to Philadelphia's inability to show up for this game and the inner qualms that are going on, whether it be with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith being a little bit hurt, you know, players being
Jalen's
frustrated with
finger.
not even well, yes, Jalen's finger, but Dallas Goddard had a little exchange with Jalen Hurts on the sideline. The cameras were able to catch that. And this isn't the first time that somebody on the offense has said something to Jalen Hurts out of frustration. We saw AJ Brown do it earlier this season. Even the Eagles, even though the Eagles were able to finish the game with a win, there's something going on in the Eagles locker room that isn't necessarily being talked about. Obviously, it won't, but
Mhm.
they're they imploded. This is one of those implosions that may have some significant consequences after the fact, after the season.
Yeah, I saw some reports that their head coach may be on the chopping block soon. So
Which is
we'll
crazy
definitely.
because he was just in the Super Bowl, but Nick Sirianni does talk a lot. He doesn't necessarily
And
have
they
control
said
over
that
the
was the
guys on the
problem.
sideline.
They said that was the problem because he talked too much. They said that might be the reason their reasoning for getting rid of him because he can't
Well,
keep
yeah,
his
I
mouth
mean,
shut.
what's the what was that dude's name? The head of security that
Oh
got
man.
Drake
Yeah.
Greenlaw kicked out of the game.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's
I
just unruly sideline. It's unruly right now. They might have to, get him out and make some
They talking about
changes.
Dom,
Yes,
whatever.
exactly.
Yeah, big dumb,
Mhm.
dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's a big problem in Philly, but the Buccaneers came out there, executed excellently on the defense side of the game and the defense side of the ball, especially putting pressure on Jalen Hurts and getting to him, not allowing him to do what he does and get out of the pocket and create plays on the run or those little makeshift plays, little backyard football. They were able to really shut that down, and it obviously, we're obviously seeing ways to defeat the Philadelphia Eagles, but obviously we'll have to wait till next season.
Yeah, and now the Bucks travel to Detroit. So how y'all feel about this one? These guys, they already played earlier this season in October, where the Lions beat them in Tampa already, 20-6. So I mean, for me, I don't, I know Baker's been hot and he's been putting on, but this might be all she wrote. Detroit, they're coming into Detroit. That city's hot. Dan Campbell's got them boys fired up. This might be time. Might be all she wrote. How y'all feel?
Mm, shoot, it's gonna be tough, man. But I think the Lions probably pull out another close one. And they take us an NFC Championship game. As far as I feel like they'll go now. Um, but it's gonna be a close one. Uh, Baker's been hot, man. Not turning the ball over. He's getting all his receivers involved. The defense is looking solid. Defense is looking like they did in the Super Bowl year when they had Brady. So everybody's buying in. And right now they're playing really good football, but I feel like the Lions will take it in the close one.
Yeah, I think I think that despite Tampa Bay being on, a tear right now, and they're playing a really good brand of football on both sides of the ball, and to Wayne's point, the less turnovers you have, the better your chances are of winning. I think both teams, they've been playing really consistent football. Both defenses are physical. Jared Goff has been there before, and I think he apart with Dan Campbell, they're going to have this team a little bit more prepared. Not to say that guys on the Bucks have been before, but I don't think Baker's gone, and I think that's going to be the difference. There's just a level of QB maturity that I think Jared Goff has a little bit more so over Baker Mayfield in going to the Super Bowl. And I also think with being in Detroit, that's going to add a different element to what's going to happen as far as the energy goes. That Detroit crowd is going to be really pumped up, and I think that they do get the opportunity to go to the NFC Championship game.
All right. Well, it sounds like we might be previewing a 49ers and Lions game next week. But we'll have to see what really happens in these matchups between the Packers, 49ers, and Bucks and Lions. But that's enough of the NFC side of the bracket. Let's get into some AFC business where the Texans, let's start off with them. They went in CJ Stroud, rookie QB, rookie head coach, handled business against the NFL's number one defense, Cleveland, where Flacco was hot. He was making me some money those last couple weeks of the regular season, but playoff time, it was not looking good for those boys. I for one am happy for CJ, and I'm glad they were able to sniff a playoff home game and home victory. Good for him. Um, and they even said during the one of the reporters, they were talking about how he goes to dinners with the other quarterbacks, and now the other quarterbacks, they have wives, and now it won't be hard for him to find a girl to bring with him after that win. So we'll hopefully we'll get some follow up to that, because that was pretty funny. But outside of that, man, how do y'all feel about young CJ and the Texans?
Yeah, my boy CJ getting 2 years old, getting jiggy,
Hey,
getting loose, man. Cleveland, I mean Joe Flacco, in my personal opinion, I think he, whatever stipulation was in his contract. He's like, look, get us to the playoffs. I got him to the playoffs, and that was pretty much all she wrote. This Houston Texans team, potential coach of the year candidate, if not the coach of the year, D'Amico Ryans, had that defense ready to go, forcing 2 turnovers from Joe Flacco. And, CJ Stroud had an excellent outing as a rookie quarterback, obviously rookie of the year, playing excellent football. Imagine if he had Tank Dell as well. Houston looks really good. Now, coming to Baltimore, it's cold out here. He's not going to stand much of a chance at all against this Baltimore Ravens football team. But it was a fun run, Houston. It was a very fun run this season, and it was they played good football, man. They played well. They played well against Cleveland. It's unfortunate because I really liked Cleveland earlier this season. Deshaun Watson, they're gonna have to figure something out with him because they reset the market for no reason. Because now Deshaun Watson can't do anything without, if he's not getting massages, he obviously is a regular civilian. So Cleveland's gonna have to figure that out. I mean, they are gonna get they're gonna be getting Nick Chubb back, so that's gonna be good for them in the following season. Hopefully, they can find some success at the quarterback position. But 45-14, it speaks for itself.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed 100%. CJ's playing some great ball. The Texans are playing some great ball also right now, especially with their trick plays, man. For some reason, or not even trick plays, just their deep balls in general. CJ's letting it go, and his arm is
Hold on,
showing.
brother.
That man.
Deep balls.
Yeah.
Balls.
All right. Big
I'm
pause.
just messing with you. I'm messing with you.
Hey, hey, man. Hey, man. The Hail
Oh
Marys.
my God.
You know
There
what?
you go.
We'll go with the Hail Marys. Shout out Tupac. But but yeah, no, that man's playing some good ball right now, and just man. But without Tech Dell, he's still got some weapons with him. The emergence of Devin Singletary, he's been, when Damian Harris, who had a great rookie season last year, went down. He came in and he's just been balling ever since, scoring touchdowns every week. So he's been a big piece for him. If CJ just to dump the ball off, you guys' old guy, Dalton Schultz over there eating for CJ right now, getting it done. But right now it's they're all clicking, and D'Amico got the guys running, and doing all the right things that they need to do to get the job done. Their defense is nice too. Everybody's healthy on the defense, and they really can get the job done. So it'll be an interesting one next week in Baltimore. This weekend, I should say.
Yeah. As you said, this week, man, they travel to Baltimore for a very interesting matchup against a well-rested Lamar Jackson. And there's been talk about Mark Andrews potentially being active off IR for this game and playing in this matchup.
Yep.
So we could see their famous tight end get back on the field and get lined up with their star QB and Lamar Jackson, and looking for that potential Super Bowl run together. But at first they got to get through this red hot first year QB, first year head coach in CJ and D'Amico. For me, I hopefully this is a good matchup. Hopefully, it's not a really one-sided matchup. I'd love to see a dogfight here. But I think the Ravens will definitely win this game. I don't think I think the Texans, man, they put up a good fight against the Browns. But everybody, matter of fact, I think I was telling Disappointed this off air one time or something. I was telling somebody this. I was actually talking to a patient. She was her mom was actually from Cleveland, and I was asking her, I said, "Hey, how do you feel about this weekend going into the game?" And she said, "We're gonna lose." I said, "Whoa!" I said, "Joe Flacco, he's been hot. He's been playing well. Y'all got the number one defense." She said, "No, we're gonna lose." I said, "Dang, that's how you feel?" She said, "We're the Browns, and that's what we do," and that's just what they did, and it's crazy.
Next.
And it's crazy.
Yeah.
She called it, and I wish I could see her again, but I know she went back to Cleveland. So if she ever watches this, man, shout out to you because I should have took that money line. But outside of that, how y'all feel about the y'all think the Texans stand any chance here?
Yeah, unfortunately. Um, no. It's gonna be a good battle. But man, that Baltimore defense is crazy. They're 2000s like Baltimore. I don't want to touch that, but they are 2000s like they like to, uh they keep the score low for the opposing team, and then the offense always goes off. And Lamar's been playing some great ball. It's time for him to show what he can do in the playoffs. He's been healthy all year. There's no excuse at this point. That offense has been clicking with Todd Moken, and he's been really a strong piece in making Lamar more a thrower. I mean, more passer. Overall, and he barely is using his legs, so that's what really was helping out. And when he does use his legs, you know how lethal he is. So it should be a very interesting game. I know DeMeco's going to dial up some good plays on defense, but still, it'll be Ravens. Ravens should get the job done.
Yeah, Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen, I think they're going to have this Ravens defense firing on all cylinders. They're going to, I don't want to say they're going to get after CJ Stroud, but I think they're going to disturb him enough. Plus, this cold, playing in Houston and traveling up here, that obviously it's been cold across the country, but this Baltimore cold is a different type of cold. And
Mhm.
but I mean, Lamar, he has a deep threat now in Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham, old, however you want to look at it, still an effective wide receiver when push comes to shove, and he definitely is experienced. So, he knows what it takes to win. And if he's able to get Mark Andrews back, it only adds to the weapons that he has on the offensive side of the ball. So it's just interesting because Lamar Jackson was the leading rusher on the football team by 821 yards, as well as obviously the leading passer. So we obviously know the dual threat that Lamar Jackson is. I just believe that Baltimore just has a lot more experience, obviously, and they're gonna come prepped, ready to play. That that the essentially the 2 weeks off is, I think, it's going to work to their benefit. A lot of times you see teams they're not necessarily prepared, but I think this is Baltimore's time. Plus, there's like a thing where it's like every 12 years the Ravens win the Super Bowl, and this is the 12th year. So we might as well just get ready.
Okay, there's the crystal ball looking into the future for us. Um, Maybe we should go take that bet now and let disappointed told us to. Uh, but outside of that, let's see the Chiefs, man. They handle business once again this season, taking care of the Dolphins in spectacular fashion. It, I don't even the number one offense looked like the number 32 offense. It was crazy. You would have thought Tua wasn't playing. You would have thought Hill and Waddle were both hurt. Um, 7 points is just unacceptable. I think that was the lowest scoring out of any team. Even the Eagles put up more in their disappointing loss. Um, it's unacceptable, and there has to be some changes in Miami. There has to be. And I haven't really heard anything. I don't know if you guys have, but something's got to change there. Um, 7 points, unacceptable. How y'all feel?
Bro, it's Tua, man. Like, I don't care. Tua's good in that system, man, but at the end of the day, it's still on him. He has a lot of talent around him, so much speedsters, but he just can't get it done in inclement weather in general. It's just awful. So I don't know. It's him, and he's played healthy this year, which was cool and all that, but I just feel like it's on him. Because the defense itself, they're responding, but Jalen Ramsey is off now. You know what I mean? He's been getting cooked on a couple routes. But that's what I really feel like, is a big issue over there. because they're running out of Tyreek Hill's years. I think he only has like a couple years left, and he said he's just going to retire after that. So, um, it's really on the heels of Tua at this point. But convincing win by Chiefs. The Chiefs got it done on both sides of the ball at that, and receivers were actually catching the ball outside of Mr. Travis Swift.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was not doing his job.
Yeah, my man was dropping easy passes. So yeah,
He was not doing his job.
hey, but the crazy part is now Jason Kelsey gets to go watch in the booth with Mama Kelsey and Taylor. So they'll be showing it all game.
Oh
Just
yeah.
saying.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. Yeah, I just Miami. It's we know the weather out in Miami. We know what's going on. It's pretty. It's a lot of palm trees, all that jazz. Grand Theft Auto characters. It's a lot of fun out there.
Absolutely.
When it gets nice and cold and gritty, real football weather, it gets tough. And Tyree got used to Miami.
Wow.
I don't think Tua. I think Tua. He played football down south for his college.
Yeah,
Down in Alabama.
that's crazy.
I don't know where Eric Waddle's from, but these guys, it's pretty weather down there. It's pretty weather down south. Kansas City is no joke. And Kansas City, they were just ready to play. It was cold. Nobody wouldn't touch anybody. So you're either going to hit or you're going to get hit. And Kansas City did the hitting. It's Patrick Mahomes' helmet chipped. That's how cold it was. But those guys, they were prepped. Andy Reid, got the frozen snot, the frozen water in his mustache. That's just the cloth that Kansas City's cut from. Now, it's going to be a different cold when they have to travel to Buffalo, and Buffalo, who is my early pick for that game. I think Buffalo is well accustomed. They're going to be Buffalo's been firing on all cylinders. I think Buffalo is going to finally be able to exercise the demon that is Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. I think it's time for Buffalo to do that. But Kansas City, they were able to get their one win in the postseason against a non-cold, a team that hates the cold, obviously, in Miami. I'm sure they went back and, fired the lines up. Everybody was doing what they're doing their best Michael Irvin and 90s Cowboys impression.
Wow.
In those Miami. I'm just kidding. I'm joking around.
That's crazy.
I know drugs are not fashionable anymore.
Yeah, not at all. No, say no to drugs, kids. That's exactly what you got to do.
Consult with your DARE
but
counselors.
Exactly. DARE, yes. DARE was a crazy program back in the day. I wonder if they even still have that program out for these elementary school kids.
Man,
they're probably pushing kids to do drugs now.
Right.
You see that and you're like, oh, this looks cool. Let me do that.
All right.
Kids, I'm here to tell you, DARE program, I'm reinstating that. It exists. You want to sign up? I got you.
Brother, we don't believe you.
Come on now. I know the DARE program. You need me to recite it for you?
Nope.
Absolutely not.
I know what it stands for. I can tell you it all.
I believe it.
But let's go ahead and let's recap though that last game. As you mentioned, the Bills won the game, but who did they play? They beat up on a team that Mike Tomlin hasn't had under 500 his entire career there. But as we had previously said, all good things have to come to an end, and it was a wild card weekend for him where all things came to the end. They got destroyed by Buffalo, and now Buffalo has a home date finally with Mahomes. He had to previously play him 2 times in Kansas City where he's lost. So maybe it's time for Josh Allen to exercise some demons and get the job done. But how y'all feel about the Steelers getting dismantled like that?
Man, no shock whatsoever. But Mike Tomlin's boys fought. They kept it kind of close. They're gonna blame it on the referees, which is crazy. But Buffalo
Doesn't
came
everybody?
in. Yeah, that's how it goes. refs don't get fined, so it is what it is. But no, Buffalo handled business like they should. Kept their home field going at least for another week, which is good for them. It'll be a good battle. I know they want this revenge against KC, especially in the playoffs. It's gonna be a really good battle. So, this next one's gonna mean something for them real, real good. So, be a good battle. I'll be ready to see it.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh at this point, their Super Bowl is getting a winning record, which is fine. But they kind of just had nothing coming for that Buffalo team. I will say it's kind of cheeky when Josh Allen does that fake slide. It's kind of like, all right, man, like just don't exploit the rules like that because then later on in the game he gets hit and they do flag it, but they probably shouldn't because it's just you just never know with Josh Allen. He's very cheeky like that, but Buffalo got right. They got their stuff together at the right time. Now they're going to be hosting a Kansas City team who the receivers can't catch the ball. Travis Kelsey, as Wayne, said previously, is more focused on likes and his upcoming engagement with Taylor Swift. So, I think he's going to be ready. I think he's not going to be fully prepared, and I think it's time for Kansas City to just take their vacation for the summer, or get ready for summer vacation. And it's Buffalo's time to make it to the AFC Championship game where they'll probably be facing off against the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay. All right. Is that another crystal ball look? Could we be getting a glimpse into the future and potential matchup between the Ravens and Bills for a date to the Super Bowl? Well, you never know. But I appreciate everybody for stopping by. You can join us next week where we will preview the road to more of the road to the Super Bowl. Until then, make sure to follow us. Views from the .50 on IG, YouTube Views from the 50 podcast, Spotify and Google Views from the 50. Until next time.